Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish series stars. Settle in, because today's story carries that quiet tension you feel when you sense something shifting just beneath the surface. You've read the title, and yes, we're going there. We're talking about Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir, two names that, for anyone who follows Turkish television and global fandoms, immediately bring to mind spark, dedication, and that unforgettable pull of on-screen chemistry. Only this time, the focus turns away from scripted romance and towards something far more intimate. It seems Can has reasons to fear for Demet, and the concern is not the kind you dismiss with a shrug. If celebrity love stories captivate you, if you live for those moments when the curtain lifts and reality peeks through, then you will want to hear this one through to the end. And before we dive into the heart of it all, a gentle reminder that subscribing to Turkish series stars keeps you tuned to everything we bring, from thoughtful analysis to the whispers that set social media buzzing. It's easy, it's free, and it helps us keep the stories flowing. Now let's break this down. There's chatter making the rounds, and it has many wondering what lies behind the polished photos and bright premieres. The relationship between Can Yaman and Demet Özdemir has long existed in that delicate space where fiction and truth brush against each other. They met and connected in the whirlwind of Erkenci Kuş, a project that didn't just catapult them individually, but made the pairing itself a cultural moment. Their scenes together felt electric, and that on-screen warmth resonated deeply with viewers who sensed that something sincere was at play beyond the set's glow. In public, they've been measured and careful, guarding what matters, yet never fully extinguishing the hope fans carry that their bond is something rare. People admired how they navigated the demands of fame while still presenting themselves with professionalism and class. But in the world of success, shadows often creep in from the edges, and this time, those shadows seem to be reaching closer than usual. Who would be concerned about Demet, and why would Can be afraid for her? That's the question rolling around in fan spaces and inside media circles where careful observers try to read the signs. There are rumors, of course, because there always are, but behind rumor there is often a seed of truth, a reason something starts. The clearest thread points toward Demet's professional trajectory. She's a performer who refuses to stay in one lane. She takes risks, reinvents, and stretches her range. Whether leading a romantic comedy with poise and light or plunging into heavy drama with fearless intensity, she pushes herself to find a new layer each time. And sometimes, that ambition carries a cost. Perhaps her current or upcoming project is asking for more than usual. Maybe a role threaded with relentless emotion, a sequence that demands physical intensity, or a location shoot where schedules are unpredictable and the set environment feels a little unpredictable. When an actor gives themselves to a character completely, it can feed the soul, but it can also require a stamina that chips away day by day if the safety net is not tight. Another angle that cannot be ignored is the nature of their industry. It is a competitive machine with bright lights that blind as easily as they illuminate. Deadlines tighten, expectations grow, and the noise around the work never quite stops. If Demet has faced friction on a set, clashing creative visions, or simply the pressure to deliver at superhuman speed, that would be something Can recognizes with painful clarity. He understands how thin the line is between confidence and burnout because he has walked that line himself. In the middle of it, a partner often sees what the cameras miss, the late-night message drafted and deleted, the stare that lingers a beat too long on a script page, the sigh that sneaks through when the day settles and the mask comes off. Then there is health, both the kind you measure and the kind you feel. Long hours turn into longer weeks. Travel compresses time zones until the body forgets where home is. Rehearsals, fittings, early calls, and sudden rewrites begin to stack into a tower that sways if no one is paying attention to the foundation. If Demet has been running at full speed, consuming her own reserves in the name of excellence, Can would sense the shift before anyone else. He would notice the way her voice drops a little lower when exhaustion sits heavy. He would be the one to ask about meals skipped, water untouched, a tangled sleep pattern that no herbal tea can fix. Not out of control, but out of care. There is a difference between trying to steer someone and trying to shelter them from the storm. It's also not unreasonable to wonder about the role she is choosing. Prestige projects can come wrapped in conflict. There are scenes that demand a vulnerability that lingers even after the director calls cut. There are ethical considerations, old boundaries challenged by new scripts, and the subtle tug-of-war between personal values and headlines that sell. Can, with his own experience navigating high-profile sets and cross-border fame, may see something that worries him. A partner often knows which choices harmonize with the arc of a life and which ones risk knocking something crucial out of tune. This is not about stifling ambition. It's about recognizing when ambition starts to nibble at joy. Let's go deeper for a moment. Acting often requires entry into places most people prefer to keep locked away. Playing a character with a fractured interior or a past that won't stop knocking asks the actor to visit emotional rooms that are dim and cold. If Demet has committed to a character shaped by trauma, fear, or loss, the performance could be magnificent and the journey there profoundly taxing. Watching someone you love walk into that space every morning can be hard to bear, even when you know she is strong and capable and wildly talented. The line between empathy and stress is thin. The heart sometimes cannot tell the difference between staged tears and the echo those tears leave behind. Public exposure, too, is its own arena of risk. Can and Demet are not strangers to scrutiny. They have seen speculation turn into headlines and innocent moments spun into narratives that stick around long after everyone has moved on. Perhaps a recent event, a candid captured at the wrong angle, a comment misunderstood, or a set photo taken out of context, triggered exactly the kind of chain reaction that keeps phones buzzing at midnight. When the spotlight finds a micro-expression and enlarges it, reputations can bend under the weight. Ken knows this game intimately. Protective instinct comes naturally when you realize that perception can be shaped by noise rather than truth. There is also the question of logistics and safety when scripts take actors away from the familiar. Projects can demand travel to remote locations, complex stunts supervised by teams that rotate in and out, and late-night rides down unfamiliar roads after days that began long before dawn. Even with the best crews and careful planning, there are variables. A partner's worry has room to grow when one too many variables stack up. Add to this the global pull of their careers. Ken has worked across borders, built a fan base that spans languages, and understands how quickly a schedule can become a maze. He knows the cost of momentum. That knowledge breeds both pride and unease. Despite the intensity of their public profile, both have always valued a private center. There is a core they protect from the noise, an agreement to share what they choose and keep the rest. That privacy breeds rumors by default, because where there is silence, some will fill it. It makes concrete details scarce whenever whispers like these begin, and it becomes easy for half-truths to grow vines. But here is what matters. The very fact that concern is being discussed suggests that something real sparked it. Concern is a language of its own. It rarely speaks out of nowhere. So what does this mean for their connection? Counterintuitive as it may seem to some, the act of naming a fear can be a sign of strength rather than weakness. It means eyes are open. It means the love in the room is not passive. If Ken has voiced worry, it likely came from a place of presence. Not from a desire to dictate, but from an instinct to stand between Demet and whatever threatens to drain the light she works so hard to protect. If the root lies in a specific production, then a seasoned team and thorough safeguards can shift the dynamic. If the root is broader, the relentless push and pull of show business, then navigating it together can become part of the story they are writing in real time. The truth, as always, could be deceptively simple or layered beyond easy explanation. Sometimes tension comes from nothing more dramatic than a calendar packed too tight. Sometimes it comes from a choice that will shape the next 5 years rather than the next 5 weeks. The only certainty is that their shared history points to mutual respect. They know what the other can endure. They know where the other shines brightest. They have weathered eyes on them, voices in their ears, and the constant pressure to make every moment look effortless. Consider the human pieces. Demet is known for her discipline, a background in dance that taught her that elegance is impossible without hard work. That foundation shows in how she approaches her roles, and it also explains why the people who care for her might worry when she goes all in. Ken carries a presence that mixes charm with steel. He understands that being the pillar is not about grand declarations. It is about showing up with quiet persistence over and over. When a pillar senses a crack forming, of course it leans in closer. Fans, naturally, read these signals in their own way. Some interpret concern as a sign that the bond deepens. Others fear the opposite, guessing at friction or misalignment. Yet it is worth remembering that the healthiest connections allow room for risk and caution to coexist. You can cheer a partner toward the mountaintop while still asking if they have enough water for the climb. The two are not contradictory. They are complementary, the dance steps of people who want a future that is not just bright, but sustainable. If there was a recent wave of pressure, it might have swelled after a demanding set day, a sudden change in a storyline, a promotional push that left very little oxygen, or a rumor that short-circuited the plans of a week. Sometimes the catalyst is seen only in hindsight, when someone admits, very softly, that they were closer to the edge than they realized. When that confession happens, the role of the person listening becomes as important as any role on screen. It looks like a hand on a shoulder. It sounds like a voice saying that rest is not failure, that stepping back can be a form of moving forward. Ultimately, what we are witnessing, even through the fog of speculation, is something more tender than dramatic. It is the rhythm of two people balancing personal ambition with mutual protection. If Demet's path right now involves heavy scenes, remote shoots, or demanding press, and if Can's instincts are ringing gently but insistently, that is not a scandal. It is the heartbeat of care. And it might very well be the reason their story, whatever shape it takes in the years ahead, continues to matter to so many. So here we are, at the end of today's look at why Can might be afraid for Demet and what that fear actually says. We have explored potential reasons that range from the creative bruises that come with intense performance to the relentless push of an industry that wants more, faster, always. We have also touched on the daily realities that don't make headlines: hydration, sleep, the small rituals that keep a person whole. Behind every scene is a human being, and behind those human beings, at least in this case, there seems to be a quiet pact to watch for danger and to call it by its name. I'm curious how you read it. Do you think the source of worry is a particularly demanding project, or is it the echo chamber of publicity that refuses to let anyone simply do their job in peace? Have you seen this play out in your own life, where the person closest to you sensed your limits before you did? Share your thoughts with us, because your perspective adds the texture that turns a topic into a conversation. And if you enjoyed spending this time with us today, remember to like the video, send it to a friend who will appreciate the nuance, and subscribe to Turkish Series Stars so you don't miss what we bring next. Your support fuels everything we do here. Thank you for being with us, and until we meet again, take care of yourselves and of the people whose light you love.